Cosmy here. Today we're gonna be reacting to the failure of Fyre Fest. I have no idea what this is about. I can kind of guess what it's about. You know, Fyre Fest. It sounds like a festival. This is gonna be actually one of the shorter reactions. I just want to get to the small stuff first. These big videos are good, but I want to see. I just want to see what his internet experience up to. Like, some of the videos I might not react to because I've seen a handful of videos, like 3 of them, but I haven't seen this one. So, yeah, let's get into this.
Hi there.
Oh my god.
You're probably wondering how I got this tan. Well, let me tell you the story. It begins with a man by the name of Billy McFarland. Billy was a good boy. At 22, he had dreams of becoming a super wealthy entrepreneur, dropping out of college.
I feel like I don't want to judge this guy, but I feel like he had rich parents.
To start a business called Magnesis. Over the years, he managed to network with some powerful people. One of them was Ja Rule. Translated from German, I believe it means, yes, rule. Over drinks, he pitched an idea. Here's an accurate recreation of that event.
Mr. Rule,
He says,
I have a brilliant idea.
Like, word, like, yo, what happened? I'm like, yo, this nigga too wild, fucking his bitch.
precisely, great minds think alike.
I didn't understand what word he said.
Absolute luxury in the Bahamas.
Mr. Rule.
What the
Promotion began in late 2016. Fyre promised beaches, ladies, gourmet food, luxury villas, hosted on a private island in the Bahamas called Fyre Cay, once owned by Pablo Escobar. VIP tickets up to $250,000.
Even if you're a millionaire, why would you pay so much money to go to like a place for like a week? That's so much just to relax.
Swimming pigs.
If I was a millionaire, I would still stay at home. I would stay at home. Why would I go out somewhere if I could just stay at home and relax? Just like get a house with a really nice swimming pool.
Blink 182. Major Lazer. A steel drum.
Okay. Everything up to this point was bad, but a steel drum, I might stick around for.
Welcome to Fyre Festival. The best 2 damn weeks of your life. I bought my ticket immediately.
I know you
The
did.
day arrives. About 5,000 people are making their way directly from
5,000. $250,000. 5,000 people showed up. Holy shit!
Miami Airport, and there are huge delays.
Bro, those tickets must have been on sale. I don't want to believe 5,000 people sat here and spent $2,500 each. $2,050
to get to Fyre Cay. Although I shouldn't say Fyre Cay, because it doesn't exist. In the marketing, they referenced this island, which is actually Norman's Cay, run by George Jung, not Pablo, by the way. But that doesn't matter because we're not going there either. We're going to Great Exuma. Private island? Forget that. Population? 7,000. In fact, we're basically in the parking lot of a sandals resort. In the end, only about 500 of us make it to the island. The remaining customers' flights are cancelled. You're about to see why. We're hauled onto a school bus and taken to the site. A gravel lot with a bunch of FEMA tents.
Oh no!
Remember those promises of
Okay, these tickets had to be on sale. I don't want to believe.
luxurious villas? Brankton.
I don't want to believe.
Enjoy your
this
stay. And don't forget your complimentary cup of UNICEF rice.
Turn this bus right around!
Once there, no one knows whose tent belongs to whom, so staff try getting
It's a
everyone into a
free-for-all.
line. Then they abandon that
First come,
idea and
first
tell
served on
everyone it's a
10. What do you mean?
free-for-all.
Yeah.
Expecting a party, this guy took all of his drugs on the flight over. He's the only one having any fun.
You know what? I don't blame that guy. Everything is already shit. There's no point being sad about it. Just enjoy the time of that point.
Everyone else is grumpy because it's been 5 hours and there's no food. In lieu of food, staff decide to start handing out tons of free tequila.
No. alcohol would just make, like, if you don't have food and you give a bunch of people alcohol, it'll literally make the hunger worse. It'll make
This
you
only
even more hungry.
exacerbates problems.
Yeah.
Once the food does arrive, it's just as delectable as promised, though. Gourmet craft single there. A few hours later, back.
I need to take a good look at that sandwich. Bruh. I can get past sleeping in tents. I can get past the fake island. If you handed me food like that, I would fist fight you
Single there.
on the spot. No
A few
questions
hours
asked.
later, bags arrive.
Like, there's a lot of things you can get away with, and I'll just be like, I'll shrug. But if you tell me you're gonna give me something good to eat and give me that, I will kill you.
A shipping container. It was getting dark and there was no
Don't
lighting.
fuck with
So
someone's
everybody's
food.
walking around with their cell phones trying to look for their luggage.
Plenty of people had their luggage stolen. But don't worry, if you have any valuables, the festival advertised top-notch security. Here it is. But no one told guests they had to provide their own lock. There are rumors of
They
muggings by the locals.
I heard rumors of feral dogs.
A tent supposedly caught fire. The closest beach has a rampant shark problem. Staff don't have any uniforms or walkie-talkies, so no one knows who's
Oh
in
my
charge, and the
God.
people who are in charge can't talk to each other. Here's the bathroom. Many staff quit after only a couple of hours. For the few customers who were
Well, I
willing
would've
to
quit
just
the
make the
first
most of
40
it and
minutes if I
enjoy the
knew
music,
shit
they
like
had
this
some
was
bad
gonna go
news
down.
too. All of the major musical acts pulled out. In fact, Major Lazer wasn't even confirmed to go in the first place.
Said all the major ones. So who showed up?
The event was promoted as cashless, so all people had were these useless Disney bucks on their Fyre band, which meant they couldn't buy anything or catch a cab if they were stranded. And even with only 500 people, there are too few tents and beds, so everyone is just stealing each other's. And for any of you thinking you could just escape to the sandals, bad luck. It's peak season and they are absolutely full. People are reaching out to the embassy for help. After a few hours, most people chose to go
Literally a
back to
shit
the
show.
airport, and the rest were forced back home when the Bahamian government stepped in. The festival,
Bahama administrative statement. We are extremely disappointed in the way the events unfolded yesterday with the Fyre Festival. We officially offer apology to all travel to our country for this event. And just seeing as how I aim to deliver a world-class experience in events.
was closed. But the exodus from the island made its own problems. Guests spent hours dehydrated and hungover in a hot building.
Bro, the last thing you want to do is put a lot of drunk people or even people who are hungover in a room with no water in it, and the room is hot. You're asking for trouble.
Why staff
That's like
locked
the
the door
worst thing you could
isn't
do.
entirely known. But one girl fainted before they were finally reopened. Everyone gets home, and that was the end of it. Except for me. I was rescuing someone, helping them out, and I got lost in the woods.
Adds up.
Anyway, back at home, the shitstorm on social media was just ramping up. The Reddit Fyre Festival was
The first one would be for a great episode. An actual account of what went down last night and today.
created, and it started documenting
Just ate my first human. I assumed.
everything that went wrong at the event. People were circulating a fake tweet
For participating in the Fyre Festival social experiment where we expose hundreds of millionaires who have never experienced true advertisement. The hardship facing refuge in the
by Jar that
bro. I don't believe. I'm convinced that these tickets were like on sale or like something, because I don't want to believe 5,000 people bought these tickets for that
the
price.
whole thing was a social experiment. Some wholesome festival memes there. And it quickly turned into a marketing case study of what not to do.
Fuck
In
it,
response,
I-
Fyre started serving cease and desist letters to stop people from saying mean things about
What do you mean? What do you mean, cease and desist? Your fucking your Fyre Festival was shit and a scam.
Mr. Rule released
I
an
would tell you
official
to shove it
statement
up your
online,
ass.
both apologizing and saying that it's not his fault.
You know what? It wasn't his fault. If you're stupid enough to go, I think it's just on you at that point.
Interestingly, he wasn't even on the island at the time. He was giving a concert in Chicago. Although,
What
to
a
their
fucking
credit,
Chad.
they offer everyone a full refund. Or, you could always let it ride and opt in for tickets to 2018's
Oh,
Fyre
bro,
Festival.
sign
And
me up.
VIP ticket to next year's Fyre Festival. If they decide to go. Exactly.
Next year?
Meanwhile, Billy is on full damage control. He claims that a storm came in the night before and changed all of the marketing into lies.
We got to a point that we were very excited about on Wednesday night
I would
with
kick
how
this
the two
guy's
sites
teeth in.
looked, and we got hit by a big storm.
But the apologies weren't enough. A few days later, and the first lawsuit was served.
Attorney Ben Misalis doesn't think it's funny. He's filed a $100 million class action lawsuit against the organizer.
Okay, $100 million seems like, you know what? No, fair.
Then another suit. Then 7 more. Then the feds got involved, claiming Billy had committed wire fraud. Serious charges with serious prison time. More on that later.
I don't know. I'm not worried.
Right now, let's go into the history of Fyre Festival. The marketing was clever. To get the word out, they got in touch with about 400 influencers, Instagrams,
Oh, I hate that word, influencers.
celebrities, and they all
Never trust the influencer. I don't care how trustworthy. Well, I guess you could trust like Mr. Beast, but like influencers, like they put. No,
offered them VIP tickets or cash.
I don't want to
to
ramble
promote
on
the
about
event.
influencers.
They even managed to get Kendall Jenner to post about it. Rumor has it she was paid $250,000 for this post.
You got paid that much for a single post.
Their
damn.
marketing worked though. The festival sold out. So how did it go so wrong? Let's start with the money. During the planning process, a consultant came in and said the festival would cost $50 million and require another year of organization.
50 mil?
This is after they made all the promises, and they had nothing near that amount, so they started cutting expenses way back. Remember those luxury villas? They were going to cost $10 million alone, so they scrapped them. Now
that sounds so
everyone gets a
painful.
tent.
I like the tent, to be honest. I'd rather stay in a tent in like a nice beach than stay in a villa.
Deposits for the bands? Nope. Food, infrastructure, staff, all were cut back. But, you may ask, how did they have so little cash if they sold out? It's the price. It was way too low. Now wait a minute, up to $250,000 a ticket is too low. In fact, on social media, people were so merciless and unsympathetic towards the guests because they thought it was a bunch of rich kids paying for tickets with a starting price of $12,000.
Yeah, $12,000 seems a little more reasonable, but I would still not pay $12,000 for a ticket.
And you can thank fake news for that assumption. You see that number repeated everywhere. But actually, very few were paying even close to that amount. The standard price was around $1,200, which, if you think about 2 weeks in the
that makes a lot
Bahamas
more
with
sense now.
practically all
I
of
can
your
believe
expenses
5,000
taken
people
care
bought
of,
that.
that's pretty bloody good. In fact, some tickets were as low as $500.
6 months ago, got together and got the early bird special for about $500, and this covered food, transportation, ticket, and somewhere to sleep.
Okay.
How on earth were they
All
going to
that
break
for
even with
500?
that?
That seems like a
They
dream.
weren't.
You see, it seems really gullible. Like, you have to be really gullible to look at something like that. Like, $500, a place to stay, food, transportation, like, free concerts. Like, it just, like, I can't feel sorry for these people because it's you have to be really gullible to be like, that's real. Like, eventually you have to sit there and be like, I played myself.
And on the flip side, there's no proof whatsoever that anyone purchased a $250,000 ticket.
I don't even.
So
I don't believe
basically,
one single
they're
person bought it.
stuffed. Billy has to start taking tough short-term loans just to keep afloat. Which,
Who the fuck is giving this guy loans?
by the way, is why they did the Fyre bans. It was to raise cash. It's reported that up to $2 million in Firebucks in-game currency was spent in the lead up to the event.
Game goods.
But this wasn't even
Before
close
you
to
got
enough.
played.
Practically broke, and with the event only a few weeks away, the more experienced staff suggested postponing. But thanks to those short-term loans, he couldn't. So he insisted on going forward. Those staff tried to control the damage by telling celebrities and public figures not to go.
How was the
Damn.
Fyre Festival?
So, Billy and Jar are in some serious trouble.
Fuck
But
yeah.
let's please have one failed festival that has a sequel. Well, Billy is out on $300,000 bail. His assets were frozen as at May 18th. He dropped his expensive attorneys. He's selling his property in New York. He tried to sell Magnesis for $150,000, but it was cancelled for being fraudulent.
Wait, what did he try to sell?
He dropped his expensive attorneys. He's selling his property in New York. He tried to sell Magnesis for $150,000.
Oh, I thought he said he tried to sell his niece, and I was like, what?
But it was cancelled for being fraudulent. Massively in debt and with no hope of paying it back.
That's
Fyre went
it's
into
a lot.
involuntary bankruptcy. And that is the end of Fyre Festival. I'll keep you posted about whether Billy is going to jail. So long, Fyre Festival. You were too beautiful for this world. And as for me, well, it's time to go home.
It's time to go. Yeah, adds up. Like, where was it? It was in the Pacific, right? This took place in no. Fuck, I was paying attention where exactly it would take place from. That all people have to learn from this video is if something seems too good to be true, they're lying to you. It's fake. If it seems like too good, it usually is just too good. It's just a dream. And don't be gullible. Don't be fucking gullible. Well, I hope any of you learned anything useful from this video. I know I didn't. Everything in this video was pretty obvious. Damn.